We are now in section 5, the partners and suppliers perspective or dimension for information security management. For the exam, we will understand the role of partners and suppliers in this practice, particularly the dependencies of this practice on third parties, and also how the partners and suppliers can support the practice. Firstly, we begin with the dependencies on third parties. And many partners and suppliers might provide critical products and service components. So it is important that the service provider negotiates and agrees the information security requirements with those partners and suppliers in order to meet those information security requirements. So the contracting is important here. Then secondly, we have the second point comes in because the capabilities of the partners may vary between one supplier partner to another supplier and partner, and also as compared to the organization which is seeking those partners and suppliers. So it may not be possible to choose a business partner, a service provider that is who can meet or that can meet all the information security requirements. Therefore, what we are saying here is, depending on the legislation available or applicable to the specific organization, compromises can sometimes be made, and sometimes a non-preferred partner needs to be selected because they are the only one meeting the information security requirements. However, there has to be caution here so that the new partner-related risks are getting mitigated in some way. Then we also have the last one here. When working with multiple partners, the entirety of the integrations landscape and different levels of information security capabilities need to be managed. So contractual obligations have to be given special attention. For example, the organization that is contracting with a partner might become accountable when one of their partners has suffered a data loss due to poor management of the information security processes and procedures. So there should be clear terms and conditions in the contract regarding the accountabilities. And of course, when we say partnership, there is a closer collaboration as compared to just a supply relationship. And there can be a lot of mutual advice for the benefit of both the organization and its partner. And other examples could be when suppliers generally have access to the organization's network. And if that's the case, when they can access the network, servers, and other resources, then it might result in a security breach. So this risk needs to be identified as early as possible, and controls need to be put in place. And the controls can be of several types. For example, in order to prevent the supplier from accessing more sensitive parts of the network, a network isolation could be done. And to prevent the supplier from accessing sensitive data and systems, strong authentication and encryption should be done. Then the last one, as an example, could be the supplier needs to understand what is expected of them and should meet those expectations. And to ensure this, there should be regular audits with respect to the contractual terms and conditions. Then we will now look at what kind of support may be possible from the third parties. So we see here the first para here that the partners and suppliers might also provide information security services and solutions such as vulnerability assessments, threats assessments, security incident management, provision of security relevant infrastructural applications. So whenever they do those, they should also be involved in testing and reviewing those services and solutions. Then the next point here is the partners specialized in information security services might be better at tracking new cyber threats and possible remediation steps compared to an organization that does not deal with information security as their main business. This is important to note because if the partners are better at tracking, then why not leave it to them, tracking new cyber threats, because they have some special capabilities there. Also, sometimes an organization might want to have a coalition of partners with various aspects of information security, different partners taking up different responsibilities. And therefore, they can do various things such as data capture analysis, machine learning, automation tools for pattern analysis, threat monitoring, systems improvement from a security perspective. Cloud providers are quite effective and efficient in protecting hosted software systems from cyber attacks and data loss. And they can also provide additional capabilities such as automated backup and restoration services in a cost-effective manner. So what we are saying here is that the partner capabilities might be better than the organization's capabilities. And it should be put to advantage for the organization. So we have covered the third para as well when I was speaking the second para there. Then lastly, we have information security consultancies. These can also be useful. They can help their customers to translate legislation and various policies and other requirements into specific actions the organization needs to take on to fulfill its obligations. So for example, if there is a new legislation coming up and the organization doesn't know what to do, they could engage a consultant who can tell them what kind of actions need to be taken based on the new legislation. And they can also provide guidance for creating policies and clarifying other requirements based on the regulation or legislation. So be conversant with these two things, the dependencies on third parties and the support from third parties for the exam.